Hello, avid educators. My name is Mr. Karn, and I am the Dean of Culture over at Panorama Middle School. And I am working in conjunction with Ms. Graham, our site coordinator, on getting this AVID virtual experience ready for our students. And one of the challenges we took on was to create this video for you to kind of show you what our ideas are for our online tutorials. And this is going to be just kind of a groundwork from here. And then as our students start to interact, we might have to adjust as we go. And we also understand that each side is unique and has different needs. So whatever works for you works. But we wanted to give you some ideas and hopefully it provides some framework for you. But this is kind of how we decided to do this. So we just based it off the 10-step tutorial process and then we adjusted it as we went and looked at each step. And if it worked without the virtual component, then we still did it. So for example, step one, the students identify initial question. That does not change because in their courses, they are still required to take focus notes and make sure they are coming up with a point of confusion from those notes. Step two is that students will complete the pre-work of the online TRF via Google Docs. So Ms. Almacher sent this out, which was really cool and it's really easy to use. The main thing we just have to teach our students on is how to make a copy. So they just go up here, make a copy, and how do they organize their Google Drive to make sure that we're still hitting that organization piece. So they fill this out virtually, and then they can upload it after they're done to Canvas, which we'll cover later when they're turning it in. We are only requiring one TRF a week at this point. We just figured that would be easier. And then maybe as we go, if we feel our students are comfortable with it, they can do two. Step three is the AVID teacher will create and schedule a Teams meeting for the students on Thursdays, then post a link in their module overview and announcement. That way it's in two different places so the students can see it. So they click on that link to join the Teams meeting, and we're going to do that again every Thursday. Each student will read off their point of confusion. Then the teacher will select a student to present a 30-second speech based on the student's questions. So a good rule of thumb we came up with is just to select students who had a similar question to everyone else. That way we can really answer multiple questions in one tutorial session. So what we also did to allow them to take notes virtually, so we can still hold them accountable for that focus note taking piece, is that we created a notebook for them. And you could do that in Canvas, it's just right here on the left. So when you click there, you can actually create a class notebook for your students, and then they can get into this, and it'll look like over here you can see the individual students. This is our staff. So we created a staff notebook just to do some training on it to see what it was like. So this is what the OneNote looks like, and it's really good if you know how to use it. And there's plenty of tutorials out there if you have issues with it. But there's a collaboration space, which is great for group projects, brainstorming, anything you can really think of. So maybe this can be used in your tutorial process. The content library is only for the teacher to edit, but the students can see it, and they can always copy and paste any of these things into their individual notebook. Teacher only is pretty self-explanatory. It's only for the teacher. And then you have your individual student notebooks over here. So the only people that can see this are your student, that individual student, and then obviously you as the teacher. But everybody else is hidden. So this is good for that accountability piece, and we can make sure that they are still taking notes in all their classes. What's also nice is that we can put graphic organizers or anything in here that they can use in their notebook without having to make obviously hard copies. So they have access to that. Even if they're connected and it uploads, they can still edit offline, and then when they reconnect, it will repopulate and be live. So that's a pretty cool little feature we're going to try out. So once the student has been selected by the teacher, they're going to present a 30-second speech, and we provided that protocol here just to, especially for our middle school students, we think it's important for them to have a sentence stem and just something to go off of and say my point and go through all these things so they make sure that they're hitting all this as they're giving their 30-second speech. And then once that student has given their 30-second speech, the students and teachers all have a dialogue. We just have to frame that in Teams, what that looks like. So if you're not talking, then obviously your mic is muted, just simple things like that. But if a student wants to contribute, they can chime in. Without a whiteboard, it's going to be a little different, but the students are having that dialogue and they're still taking their 3-column notes in their class notebook. So again, we gave that to them here, and they can print that off if they have a printer, but if not, they can access this on Word and just type it in as they go. So that will all be a part of their turn-in process. They will turn this in with their TRF. Then finally, we just keep repeating until we've reached like the hour limit. I wouldn't go over an hour. minimum 30 minutes possibly, and then max an hour. Just again, that depends on what your AVID teachers want to do and what they feel comfortable with. But we don't really want to take up too much time, just like we wouldn't want to take too much time up as we would in a school day. So again, just hit on as many questions as we can in that time frame, and then finish it off there by doing the summary section of their TRF. So they go back to the TRF and fill out the summary section. Once that's done, they turn it in on Canvas. So again, they can turn that in through the module, the assignments. They may have to download this as a Microsoft Word document to turn that in, or a PDF, whatever works. But then they can just turn that in on Canvas with their 3-column notes. So our main goal with this was just to keep it simple for students and consistent. So we're consistent with using Canvas, and we're consistent with using Teams for meetings. Again, we want to hold our students to high expectations and also be providing a lot of support for them, and they may need it throughout this online experience. So that tutorial piece is going to be huge for us. Other than that, that's basically what we came up with. If you have any feedback, please email me or Miss Graham. My email is nkarn@hsd2.org. If you have any feedback for us, that would be much appreciated. But other than that, that's it. I hope you guys are doing all right, and I hope that this virtual AVID is going to be a good experience for our students, especially a lot of them being college going students or college ready students. This is going to be a great lesson for them since a lot of the colleges are moving online as well. Thanks again for your time, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye.